आश्वासन दिया था और कमेटी भी गठित हुई और आज तक उस कमेटी का कोई भी फैसला नहीं आया है। जो मीटिंग है पहलवानों की, जो खेल मंत्री गए, तो हम तो भारत सरकार से उम्मीद करते हैं कि जल्दी इस मामले को निपटाए।
अब भारत सरकार से उम्मीद करते हैं जल्दी से इस मामले को सुलझाया जाए। अनुराग ठाकुर जी ने बयान दिया है कि जो बातचीत हुई सकारात्मक हुई, बहुत पॉजिटिव हुई है जो बातचीत हुई है। आप खुद, मुझे पता है, एक धरने पे बैठे हैं जो किसान का एक पंचायत है, उसमें रेसलर्स की बातें भी डिस्कस हो रही हैं। अब राकेश टिकैत भी थे उसी किसान पंचायत में। कुछ डिसीजन उनकी तरफ से आया है, क्योंकि रेसलर्स ने एक चीज साफ बोली है, आपको भी पता होगा महावीर जी, कि वो जो खाब चौधरीयों हैं, आप लोग हैं, उनसे बातचीत होगी। तो आप लोगों का क्या नजरिया रहेगा?
देखिए, इस चीज का तो मुझे पता नहीं है। राकेश टिकैत का जो पहले 5 तारीख थी, अब उसके बाद में 9 तारीख दी थी, तो मैं तो अब लोगों को यही है भाई 9 तारीख तक ही अल्टीमेट है। अगर समझौता होता है तो ठीक है, नहीं तो यहाँ जो आगे आंदोलन, जो किसान आंदोलन था, उसका उसी पर चल रहा है।
अब वो 15 तक तारीख हो गई है। जो रेसलर्स जब छुटे हैं, उन्होंने ये बोला है, मीटिंग के बाद से जब निकले हैं, उन्होंने साफ बोला है कि 15 तारीख तक कोई धरना प्रदर्शन नहीं होगा। आपको लगता है समझौता हो सकता है महावीर जी?
देखिए, ये तो जो सरकार है, अगर सरकार चाहेगी तो समझौता हो जाएगा, अगर नहीं चाहेगी तो समझौता कैसे होगा? सिर्फ मैंने बच्चों का मुद्दा है, ब्रजभूषण को गिरफ्तार करो और उसके ऊपर जो धाराएं हैं उसकी निष्पक्ष जांच हो।
इस बीच में महावीर फोगाट जी, जो माइनर लड़की है जिसके बयान के तहत पॉक्सो का केस हुआ है ब्रजभूषण के ऊपर, अब सुनने में आ रहा है कि इस बच्ची ने अपना स्टेटमेंट रिट्रैक्ट कर दिया है। आपको लगता है कि इससे केस वीक होगा?
देखिए, जो लड़की जो नाबालिग थी, मैंने भी आपके टीवी के माध्यम से सुनी थी, लेकिन उसके बाप के बयान भी मैंने 2 दिन बाद में, अभी हमें कोई झूठे बयान है, हमें कोई केस नहीं उठाया है। अगर देखो केस उठता है इसके मामला में तो फर्क तो पड़ेगा, लेकिन 7-8 लड़कियां और हैं।
इस बीच में जो बबीता है आपकी लड़की, वो पीछे हट गई हैं। बीजेपी से चुनाव लड़ा है उन्होंने। गीता भी कोई भी प्रोटेस्ट में नहीं आ रही है, सिर्फ विनेश और साक्षी सामने दिख रही हैं। क्यों लगता है कि आपको बबीता पीछे हट गई है?
देखिए, वो जो बबीता थी जो पहले थी, और उसका इसने कोशिश अब की बार भी की है, उसने जो इनका समझौता हो जाए, लेकिन ये अब बात कर, दोनों ये बात नहीं करती है और न वो मिलती, ये 2 जन।
क्या बबीता बीजेपी से चुनाव लड़ चुकी हैं, इसीलिए हट गई हैं पीछे, अपनी बहनों के साथ नहीं खड़ी हो रही हैं?
देखिए, जो उसके साथ दिया था बबीता ने, जो नवीन को पहले भी, लेकिन अब वो भी मजबूर है। वो जो क्यों नहीं, तो वो बबीता की बात मानते हैं बच्चे, न कोई, वो सिर्फ एक ही जिद है, ब्रजभूषण को अंदर करो और जो संगीन धाराएं और उनको जो केस निष्पक्ष जांच होनी चाहिए।
पर महावीर फोगाट जी, आप बोल रहे हैं बबीता मजबूर है। क्या मजबूरी है बबीता को?
देखिए, वो जाने, उसके जो लड़की आप जो शादी कर दे तो उसके जो परिवार आगे, जो उसका अगला परिवार जाने कैसे चलाते हैं उसको।
तो जहां शादी कर रखी है उसका परिवार जानता है। चलिए, बहुत शुक्रिया Mahavir Fogart ji, ke aap humse jude. That's Mahavir Fogart. He's the father of Babita and Geeta Fogart. Both of them have pulled out of the protest in terms of not seeing standing behind their sisters, technically, when it comes down to the wrestling protest. With that, I want to cut across to Nikhil Naza, consulting editor, Sports India Today TV. He joins us from London. Nikhil, I know a lot is going on in terms of London where cricket is concerned. I just want to pull you back into the dangal which is taking place in the national capital. All the wrestlers today met the sports minister. Have you got an indication from them? They've put forth 5 demands. One of their sticking demands is the arrest of Brijbhushan Sharan. If, let's say, the other 4 demands are met, and we're going to put out all their demands in graphics as you take us through them, the 5th demand, if the arrest doesn't happen, do you see the wrestlers still accepting what the sports minister or the government says?
Well, to answer your last bit of question, Preeti, no. I think the wrestlers are very adamant, and I think this would be at number 1 as far as those 5 demands that you're talking about. This would be at number 1 for them. They would want that Brijbhushan be arrested. Having said that, I believe when I spoke to a few people close to the wrestlers that are protesting, is the fact that they've asked the sports ministry to ensure that the Delhi police inquiry or the investigation is completed by the 30th, if I'm not mistaken. So by the 15th, I beg your pardon, as far as the Delhi police investigation is concerned, and they've been assured that yes, at least the investigation would be completed by then. I think all of this is still, I see a bit of positive here, Preeti, because there was a deadlock, as you know, between the government and the protesting wrestlers. At one point, it seemed like that the wrestlers weren't even ready to engage in any sort of dialogue with the ministry. And I'd heard from close sources within the ministry, and they were also not happy with the way the wrestlers were protesting. And they said that, listen, when we put a few bodies in place, then why is it that the wrestlers have to take the matters into their own hand? So both parties were agreed. Both parties weren't happening with way things were going, and you felt like that there would be no resolution in sight because there was going to be no dialogue. So I think to start with, it's a good beginning that there has been a bit of a dialogue right now. And I think all of that has been initiated from the meeting that the wrestlers had with the Home Minister Amit Shah. I know the wrestlers weren't happy at the time because they had certain demands, and they had said that there should be an immediate arrest of Brijbhushan Sharan, at which point they were reminded that the investigation needs to be carried on. And if the police then deem it fit, only then can he be arrested and not otherwise. So that is something that was brought to the notice of the wrestlers. Now that they've had the meeting with the sports minister, some of those demands is, one, as you said, the arrest of Brijbhushan. I don't think they have been guaranteed that, but I think what the sports ministry is happy at the moment is, or at least assured them, that the investigation would be complete. That is one. The other thing that they've assured them, with which the wrestlers are happy, that you will have free and fair elections by the 30th of June. So that's something that they are also looking forward to. Remember, there has been a 3-member committee that has been set up to ensure the free and fair elections are conducted. However, I believe there's another demand that the wrestlers have put, that ensure that nobody from Brijbhushan Sharan or his family be able to contest those elections. And that may not be possible because the government in no way can intervene in those elections. As soon as the government has any sort of interference, that amounts to outside interference, and then the Wrestling Federation can even be banned by the world body. So the elections have to take place. And You cannot have a condition that no relative of Brijbhushan can participate in the election. I believe his son is the president of the Uttar Pradesh Wrestling Federation. He'd be eligible to contest. Whether he wins or not, that will be a democratic process, and that we'll get to know as and when the elections happen.
All right, Nikhil, appreciate you joining us. Have a good one there following the cricket, while we keep ourselves focused on all the developments that come in from the big dangal, which clearly seeming to enter its final bout. There is clearly a temporary truce. How was it brought about? Is there a perception that was set in terms of sympathy where our wrestlers are concerned? I'm going to take you through some numbers which seem to suggest yes. There was a perception, especially where the regular people are concerned, that the wrestlers have been dealt an unfair hand. Why do I say that? Let's take you now through some seawater data, which seems to clearly suggest that public sympathy lied at least or lay with the wrestlers. Let's take you through that now. There you have it. This is a lot of numbers in terms of C voter has collated a lot of these numbers. We're going to put it right out. Who is speaking the truth in terms of the C voter data where it collated? It seems that most people believe that wrestlers, 75% believe that wrestlers are speaking the truth. Brij Bhushan, 12%. But of course, this is a vote which goes to the opposition. Now, those who have traditionally voted for the NDA, and that is where, lies the catch. Because here, viewers, if 54% of the NDA vote bank, which traditionally should support the government, says no, they believe the wrestlers and not a BJP MP, Brij Bhushan. So this figure would clearly be worrying for the government. Total, a whopping 67% actually believe that the wrestlers are speaking the truth and not the man on your television screen. Let's bring in Rahul Srivastava, our National Affairs editor, while we take you now to our next graphic. Okay, Rahul Srivastava is with us. Rahul, we're number crunching, going through some of the C voter data. The sheer fact that the government today, through a tweet by the sports minister, invited the wrestlers to talk, a lot of it also has to, come from the narrative which is being built where the people are concerned. If we look at these numbers, it's very clear. NDA supporters also feel that the wrestlers are the ones who are telling the truth and not a BJP MP.
Pretty political parties usually deal with in a different manner vis-a-vis perception is concerned. It is their own sense of perception in which they weigh their pros and cons vis-a-vis an action, because there is no guarantee that NDA voters today who are with the wrestlers today, 54% or whatever that number is, in 2024 will not be voting as Thakurs and Jats and Brahmins and others. So there is no direct inference like that. But yes, definitely this case, one can see that the government seemed to have relented in terms there is a certain softening of the stand, that bluster is not there. Since January, if you see, there have been two incidents. This is the second incident where there were charges against the government or a member of the government. The first one was Adani, in which the government said, bring the opposition, take the legal course. In this, initially, it seems to be the line that the government was saying, was backing Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, was not ready to back down. But one very interesting thing has happened, that if you see, first there was a hush-hush meeting with Amit Shah. And in that meeting, the contours are not very clear what was the compromise. But eventually, the wrestlers returned back to work. That was the first sign of softening. And after that hush-hush meeting, today there was a meeting at visible public glare with media present. Anurag Thakur, the Minister of Sports, putting out a post yesterday that he wants to invite the rest of our meet. Means the government has seized that little bit of window of opportunity which was created in that meeting between Mr. Amit Shah and the wrestlers, and is expanding that window of opportunity. Now, what is happening? That if you see what Nikhil briefed in terms of the demands, and June 15, the probe will be over, 30th, the WFI elections will be over. If the probe does indicate Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh may be arrested, all these are promises. There are 5 demands now, whereas when initially the agitation started, there was one demand: justice. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh should resign. So we can see that there is softening of stand happening on both the sides. Now, eventually, from the huge cry for justice, it is now a demand for law, and the government is saying a legal course will be followed. And I think the government is succeeding, not very much, but definitely seems to be succeeding in getting it. They're at least off the streets. Bajrang Punia very clearly saying that till 15, we are not likely to stage demonstrations. I think
Rahul, stay on with me. Would you just stay on with me? We're going to, get you right back. We're going to throw out some other numbers there where the C voter data is concerned. And what has been the opinion of the people in terms of the data collated, the wrestlers vis-a-vis Brij Bhushan Sharan? No, actually not that. Next is, are the people satisfied with the Delhi police action? Now, the Delhi police yet to file any charge sheet, yet to arrest Brij Bhushan Sharan, who's been slapped with an FIR under POCSO. Well, if you look at it, completely satisfied. The opposition vote is only 12%. But like I said, it's not really the opposition vote that you might want to look at. Look at the NDA vote. 23% actually feel, only 23%, that they are completely satisfied. Somewhat satisfied, 11% opposition vote. NDA support base 17%, total 13%. But what I really want you to look at, viewers, is the one right at the bottom, completely dissatisfied. 47% of the opposition vote says that they are completely dissatisfied how the Delhi police has handled the case, while 30% of the NDA vote, traditionally an NDA voter says, or a BJP voter says, that they're dissatisfied on how the Delhi police has handled the case. Overall, 40% people actually feel that they are thoroughly dissatisfied. 19% feel they're somewhat dissatisfied. On being questioned on the role, that should the Prime Minister actually intervene? Let's take you through that data. Well, opposition says, should the Prime Minister intervene? Where the opposition vote is concerned, traditionally voting for opposition, 76% says yes. Only 15% says no in the opposition vote. NDA vote, traditional BJP voters, 58% says yes, that the Prime Minister needs to intervene, and 25% say no, the Prime Minister should not intervene. Total 68% feels that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi needs to step in and sort out the dangle, or be the umpire in this dangle, which is only getting murkier and dirtier. Coming across back to Rahul Srivastav, who is with us, getting us the latest in terms of break down the numbers. Rahul, is there a sense where the BJP is concerned and the advisors to the incumbent government that they've possibly mishandled this wrestlers' protest? Because we've seen what went down in wrestler protest. The first one in January, you had Anurag Thakur at that point of time, and now the second time around, there seems to be a sense that maybe the government did mishandle the entire crisis.
Preeti, purely from the BJP and the government perspective, I will say that this was deliberate. It was orchestrated in that manner, primarily one. Sacking Brigbhushan Charan Singh instantly would have been an admission of guilt. And I think the blame would have not have gone to the door of Brigbhushan Charan Singh, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The opposition would have done that. The government has averted that. The survey says that people are unhappy with the government handling other, but Brigbhushan Charan Singh is a face in the Devi Batan area of Uttar Pradesh, which is a sizable number of seats. 7.5% Thakurs in Uttar Pradesh. That's a big concern for the BJP. Interestingly, it has not become a Haryana versus the rest battle. It has become a slightly Jat versus the rest battle. Not negative for the BJP and Haryana, primarily because since 2014, the BJP has created that political fissure in which it is Jat versus the rest by installing somebody like Mr. Khattar as a chief minister to break the monopoly of the Jats. And in Haryana, 25% population may be Jats, 35 seats they may be controlling, but there are too many claimants, Bhupen Singh Hooda, Chautala's sons and others, and that's where the Jat vote gets divided. So in fact, if it is a Jat versus the rest, it works better for the BJP. So I will say that, yes, there was a bit of a bluster, but eventually I think the government deliberately slowed down the whole process, got them to come and meet Amit Shah, then now an open meeting with Anurag Thakur, the sports minister, and a roadmap for a compromise, a negotiated compromise. I think usually governments have very deep pockets of tricks.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Rahul, with your opinion there. Interesting. What we're going to do is keep the spotlight and get our viewers the latest as it unfolds. A quick break to stay with us. Up next is Rahul Kanwar.
Not the Maharaja, Indigo is still the undisputed king of Indian skies. And the airline with the ubiquitous blue livery is ensuring its holds onto its crown. Indigo is reportedly spooling its engines to launch a 500 aircraft order. It would make it the biggest order till date from India, larger than the 470 aircraft ordered by Air India earlier this year. Indigo is eyeing 500 single-aisle Airbus A320 family aircraft with a sticker price of more than $50 billion. The final price, according to analysts, could be nearly half, if discounts for bulk deals are included. Indigo is also planning on buying 25 wide-body aircraft, for which Airbus and Boeing are still in contention with their A330neo and 787 models. Indigo is already one of the largest Airbus customers, operating 308 Airbus-made aircraft. Nearly 500 aircraft are still to be delivered. There are fears that the two huge aircraft orders by Indigo and Air India could skew the demand-supply dynamics in the Indian markets. Indian carriers now have the second largest order book for aircraft, behind only the United States. The past few months have seen air traffic rise to zoom past pre-COVID levels as travelers return with a vengeance. Indigo had a market share of nearly 58% in April, with Vistara and Air India at a distant second and third positions. Go First, which went under last month, also had a decent 6% market share. With the Wadia Group-owned Go First grounded, Indian skies are running short of aircraft, pushing up airfares into stratosphere. There could be some relief for flyers in the future with these additions to aircraft fleet, both on domestic and international routes. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
This Nepali Sherpa guide is carrying a Malaysian climber on his back down from a part of Mount Everest called the Death Zone. Gelji Sherpa says he saved the man's life. He was guiding a client to the summit in mid-May. That's when he saw the Malaysian climber clinging to a rope and shivering in the extreme cold. The Death Zone is a part of the mountain where temperatures can drop below -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Rescues are almost impossible there, authorities say. Gelji convinced his client to give up the summit attempt and began his rare high-altitude rescue.
It took me 5 to 6 hours to get from 8,500 meters above sea level to 7,900. It was very difficult. In places where it was rockier, we could not drag him. We had to carry him on our backs with difficulty.
He eventually got help from another guide, and a helicopter then carried the climber down to base camp.
It was important for us to rescue him, even from the summit. Money can be earned any time. Left like that, he could have died. We have saved his life by quitting the summit.
The climber was put on a flight to Malaysia last week. The dramatic rescue comes as Nepal issued a record 478 permits for Everest during this year's climbing season. At least 12 climbers have died, and another 5 are still missing on Everest slopes.
The king of jungle, or should we say the prince, now in the care of Savitri at the Bannerghata National Park. Savitri Amma, as she is popularly known, is mother to orphaned cubs that are brought up here from all parts of Karnataka. Lion, leopard, tiger. She has been looking after them for the last 22 years. It's a bond she cherishes. She has sleepless nights when a cub falls sick.
ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತೇವೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಸಪ್ಪಗೆ ಮಲಗಿರ್ತವೆ ಹಾಲು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಪ್ಪಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಾಯ್ತದೆ ಅವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಾರ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತೇನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ 2 ದಿವಸ ಊಟ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಹಾಲು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಡ್ರಿಪ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಡ್ರಿಪ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಮೇಲೆ 3 ದಿವಸ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಸರೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ನಾವು ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ಥರ ಹಾಲು ಉಡ್ಬಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಾಲು ಕುಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೋಡ್ಕೊತೀವಿ
Savitri Amma, who communicates effortlessly with the cubs, is a woman of few words. Her world is all about her wild friends. Currently, 9 leopard cubs and 1 lion cub are under her watch.
ಇದು ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಮಗು ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು ಹಾಲೇನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಅವಾಗವಾಗ ಕುಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು 3 ತಿಂಗಳಾದಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ 3 ಟೈಮ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು 6 ತಿಂಗಳಾದಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚಿಕನ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರೂಢಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಲು ಚಿಕನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ.
The veterinary doctors at the facility say tending to cubs is no easy task.
Only thing, they come early 1 month, 15 days, 1 month cubs they come also. Different area. Early very difficult to handle also. After 3 months, 4 months, they will recognize also. They will obey also. Wild animal, no. Anything they will mind change also. You want to take whatever the precautions you should we take also. And all touching also prohibited, only thing.
When the cubs grow up, they will be released in safari zone or kept in the zoo. Some of the cubs will remember her for a long time, like this one. With Anagha Keshav, Bureau Report, India Today.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 41 and minimum 27 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 31 and minimum 29 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 43 and minimum 29 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 33 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 36 and minimum 28 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 39 and minimum 29 degrees.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode. Armed with facts, she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories. From every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies.
Co-presented by Hayfler. Let's reimagine.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the news track. I'm Rahul Kamal. After the defeat in the Karnataka Assembly elections, the BJP is rethinking its strategy for the Lok Sabha elections in the southern states. Talks are currently on with the Janata Dal Secular in Karnataka, with the Telugu Desam Party in Andhra Pradesh and in Telangana. Will this alliance building strategy help the BJP gain ground in southern India in the big election of 2024? That's my top focus on the news track.
BJP launches Mission South ahead of 2024.